Hello, welcome to episode 2 of This Mold House. Today I have my guest, Chelsea.
Hi.
We are going to go through Chelsea's story. Chelsea, we're going to get right into it.
Okay.
Where it started, what the process was like to figure out that mold was harming you and your family.
We moved into a new house, and after being there for a little while, there were a lot of strange leaks, like from I think maybe the second week we moved in.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point, we really weren't concerned about mold or anything. They were immediately out and working on these leaks, but they would happen all the time. Sometimes the floor would just be soaked.
Where were the leaks at exactly? Where were they coming?
I don't think we ever got to the bottom of where they were coming from, but they ran complete new lines, like main lines into the home. Because at one point, the leaks from the floor, they were thinking was a cracked main hot water pipe.
Okay.
So I know they ran new lines there. And then they also had some issues where the companies who came and did the work, they were just stopping mid work. They were not finishing.
Oh my God.
So the process kind of got drawn out a while. And
How
then
long would
one
you
day,
say? Like how many weeks would you say? Or months?
it was well over 3 weeks on just them working on the first leak.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because that was a couple months, May, June, so about 3 months. And during that time, there wasn't any like crazy extra leaks. We weren't really concerned.
Mm-hmm.
And then one day we had a leak from a ceiling. So it came at the third floor.
Okay.
It was a tri-level house, so it broke on the third floor,
Okay.
came through the floor, through the ceiling, and then down through the floor and the ceiling of the middle level.
Oh my gosh. So do you guys own all three, or is it someone above you, or like how does that?
We were renters, so
Okay.
and we rented the complete unit.
Okay.
So it was just our family. We never really understood where that leak came from other than the homeowner said that it had happened before, and this key piece is really important.
Mm-hmm.
He apologized and said it had happened before, that there was just a weak pipe.
So they never fixed it maybe entirely or replaced the pipe.
Yeah, I kind of think that's what happened, that or he seemed to do a lot of the work on the home himself. So, maybe it was just something only he was aware of. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, he made an insurance claim. We made an insurance claim, and they had people out there very, very quickly to kind of get things going.
Mm-hmm.
I would say within the first week, probably second day after it happened, they had a company who came out, ripped all the flooring up, set
Mm-hmm.
out heaters. I mean, now this is when I started to notice things. When they ripped the flooring up, you could see mold underneath of the flooring.
Did it look fresh, or did it look like it's been there
It
like a
was
minute?
it looked almost like burnt. It looked like the floor was burnt. The words that were used is, well, that's old growth. And I mean, to the point that we were now walking on nothing but subflooring,
Oh my God.
completely molded out. And I was like, oh, that's mold. He's like, oh, no, that's just some old growth. And he said it was fine. They didn't even like section off pieces of the house or anything like that. And the company I used was a water and fire restoration company.
Yep. Okay.
So I felt very comfortable
Mm-hmm.
that when they said things like old growth, like there was nothing to worry about,
Mm-hmm.
and when they wrapped up and left, it was okay. We'll come back in. We're going to check on the heaters. We're going to check on the moisture levels. They were just in and out for a few weeks.
And your landlord selected the company to come in? The fire and
No, the insurance
the insurance
from
did.
the homeowner's
Okay.
insurance selected like who was able to come to do
Okay.
this.
That makes sense.
And so um within the next few weeks, I got really, really sick. And it wasn't just me. Another adult in the home as well had a lot of the same weird things that I was describing. And at first, it was just like, what is going on?
Mm-hmm.
But my skin issues actually started like the day after.
So it's pretty fast.
It looked like there were like chemical burns on my face, and my arms, on my chest. And I had no idea like what was causing that. At first I thought it was like the dust from like the drywall, because they had to take the drywall down. And what I had noticed is that once they removed the drywall, and again, they didn't like cover it up or anything, it was just like open. And I had noticed, like, it didn't matter how many times I swept my house, there was this like fine dust that was like everywhere. And everywhere that touched my skin began to react.
Oh my
And I
God.
only came to notice that because when I was sweeping is when it would start to get on certain areas of my arm that I could really pinpoint. And I could feel it like burn almost immediately. And so that for me, I was like, okay, I don't know what this is. Next, we have a very large family,
Hmm.
4 kids in the home full time. And so I called my dad and I was like, I don't know what's going on. Something is wrong with me. I don't feel good. I need to get this house cleaned up because I don't know what this stuff is, but it's like burning my skin.
Hmm.
And he's a contractor. And so I like was panning in on some of it. There were also some things that started growing around the house that kind of looked like mushrooms.
Oh my God, it was that bad. They started getting mushrooms like.
They were like, so I don't know that they're actually mushrooms, but just to try to describe the look of them
Yeah.
is that they were like a gelatinous, um, like glob. So that it actually looked like, have you ever seen like a spider web that like makes a web in a crack where it's just like kind of flat and
Yes.
fuzzy? That's what it started to look like.
Ew.
When I say mushroomy, it's just because like the feel of it felt like a mushroom.
Like gelatinousy. Like.
Yeah, yeah, like that, like, so still wasn't thinking mold,
Hmm.
right? And so like I'm showing my dad, I'm on FaceTime and I show my dad around, and he's like, that looks like mold. I'm like, mold, wait. Then I start to think about like all the mold that is all over the subfloors. And so, anyways, after our conversation, I called the restoration company back and I'm like, hey, I need some answers. Like, I'm having all these really strange symptoms. And I know you called these things old growth and said it was safe for us to live like this. But I'm really curious now, like, do we know because at first they did tell me that they sent off microbial testing.
Okay, that's good. They like
And
swabbed it or
so,
something?
so then when they kept saying old growth, I'm thinking, oh, that's confirmed. Like,
Yeah.
there's nothing to worry about. And so I asked them for exactly what their findings were.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, things got really weird. They were like, oh, yeah, so we can't call anything mold until there's been a microbial testing done.
Okay.
It's called, water damage or suspected growth, suspected microbial growth, or if it's not from a current situation, we would refer to that as old growth because it did not grow from
That.
this.
So it could have grown though. It could have been in your space from the previous leak.
First,
Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. So, I'm like, okay, so you didn't test it. And they won't give me a straight answer. They're just like stating laws.
That's
Okay.
so dodgy. What?
And so, yeah, and now I'm like, my everything is like, oh my goodness.
Something's up. Like I'm sure
Yeah.
your gut was just
So
like what emotions were you experiencing that in that moment? Like.
I felt like I was being played. I was like, oh my goodness, I felt like I was living a conspiracy. And that's what I felt like. I was like, what kind of conspiracy did I just walk into?
Literally.
And I'm like, okay, I I started to feel like everybody now that I was working with was just lying and hiding things.
Hmm. Protecting that landlord.
Yeah. Which, I mean, myself, I thought was crazy because I'm like, oh, we both have insurance. I have renter's insurance. They have homeowner's insurance. Like, everything's going to get worked out. And, so I really kept high hopes for that.
You expect the best out of people. Like you're like, oh, like they
Yeah.
realize that this is a shitty situation.
I would
And
never expect for someone to be like, well, I know this can kill you, but here, live in it.
we fixed
And
it.
so I didn't know how dangerous mold was at that time either. So I really I thought it was the cause of my skin irritation. I
Yeah.
have very sensitive skin. The irritation, it was bad. And as far as the skin irritation goes, I would have like swelling around my lips and in the corner of my lips would get like chapped.
You get the angular cheilitis or whatever. Dude, I get that
Yeah,
all
I
the
saw
time
you
now.
talking about that. I'm like, oh my gosh, I've never heard of that before. But yeah.
It
Yep.
literally, no matter how much like Aquaphor, Vaseline, like chapstick you put on,
Ugh.
it is, oh, it
Oh, it's
hurts. It's so
awful.
painful.
No, and I was like, I didn't want to go out of the house.
Yeah.
I looked hideous and I was like, I look gross. I look like a shower was not fixing my situation.
Right. Sometimes an all over body shower makes you feel so good and fixes all your trouble.
Basically, what happened next is I started to get some really bad neurological symptoms.
Okay. When did that start, like time frame wise, from like the rash to that? What would you say?
Like it was probably like 3 weeks from, but I think after being able to like really sit down, I think it came on slower
Or something?
than like, and I kind of put it off as like, oh, it's the stress of all these people coming in and out of my house and
Losing sleep?
moving all of the things and cleaning up. And
Mm-hmm.
so I actually think that it started before
Oh, I bet.
it was as bad as when I was like, there's something wrong.
Yeah.
And so basically, like, I just started getting really bad brain fog. I felt like I was like in fight or flight all the time. I
Mm-hmm.
was having panic attacks over just like nothing. And I am not someone who's experienced panic attacks before. So that was super scary.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
Well, so after the initial leak,
Yeah.
I actually so when it leaked, I was standing underneath of it and I lost a lot of my hair because like the drywall stuff
Yeah.
like balled up and
It makes
stuff.
like made knots in your hair?
Yeah, it was like adhered like concrete.
Oh my God.
I was out of the house prior to the leak for
Okay.
eight hours a day, in and out mostly. But yeah, I was out for a good part of the day. And once that happened to my hair, I stayed in for a week because we also then didn't have water. And this was like a separate issue I had with them was they cut off the water to our home and I could not shower.
Oh my gosh.
Initially, I thought the skin irritation on my face was due to that.
Yeah. And they didn't like pay, like compensate you for the lack of water. They didn't say, hey, here's another day
No,
to
see, and
shower.
I had a huge issue with that too. I was like, okay, so I had a 6-month-old baby drinking
Mm-hmm.
formula.
Mm-hmm.
Again, and like I had 4 kids in the home.
Okay.
So I'm
Yeah.
like, this isn't just me not getting a shower. This is
This is multiple people
right.
having their
Yeah.
water supply cut off for
Yeah.
a week, was it?
On
Or
it,
two
on and off.
days?
There was a time where they had turned it back on. It
But the question
didn't
is, was it
have
safe too? Like when they turned it back on? Like who knows?
No, it started a bunch of other leaks. Like
Yeah.
yeah, no, it busted immediately. And they were like, oh, we didn't let it have enough time, even though it was over 24 hours. And so then they had to get somebody else back out there and fix it. And then they waited even longer for like the pipe.
Yep.
So, which I actually find really strange because where I live now,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I don't know if there's a different type of pipe glue or whatever, but they just turned that on like immediately.
Yeah. That's
Like, oh,
crazy.
okay. The landlord himself brought me $92 in water bottles, I think is what it was.
Are you supposed to shower with those? Like I'm confused.
I I said the same thing and I was like,
What?
okay, let's not make this situation worse. Like, let's just go.
Is it
And
thank
at
you?
this point, like I said, like I didn't know we were going to be without it for a week.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So at this point, I'm thinking like 2 days max.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, we can make that work. Let me go back to your last question and to answer
Yeah.
that is
Go
when my
for
neurological issues started, I was in the house
it. Okay.
all day, every day.
Checks off.
And that's actually what tuned me in that we may be looking at a mold issue because I was like, when I finally, and then I kept saying like, oh, I don't feel good. I don't want to leave the house. Like, I just can't do this. And I started having like awful, awful anxiety where it was just like, I can't leave the house.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had to leave the house and we left one day and I felt so much better while we were out.
How many hours were you away when you started to feel better, would you say?
Probably like probably like 7.
Mhm. Sounds about right.
Then we were out for another like 4 hours another day, and I was like, same result. Like, I started to feel a lot better.
Mhm.
Mm, I wasn't having like I wasn't having panic attacks. I wasn't having trouble breathing. My brain didn't feel so like foggy. I didn't feel like I was struggling so much. And then I was like, okay, there's definitely something here, because when we leave, I feel a lot better than when we're here.
Mhm.
So at that point, I really kind of went in on them and was like, hey, I'm not comfortable living here anymore
Yeah.
during this. So we're going to stay at a hotel.
Good.
And
So
we
expensive
really
though.
couldn't, huh?
It's so expensive though. Oh my
I
goodness. Especially
know.
with
I
4
was like,
kiddos.
well, I talked to the insurance, and due to my insurance, it was supposed to cover any losses, right?
Mhm.
And so in my head, I'm thinking like, we're going to go to the doctors, like, and we're going to report this to our insurance, and like, oh, it's all going to be taken care of because we have. And I'm like, all these things, that's what they're here for, right? And so I'm like, no, we're fine. I talked to my insurance people who are like, yeah, we are going to cover like the direct loss from your things that were damaged by the water. We are going to cover like any hotel stays that displace you from your home. And so I'm like, okay, wonderful. So really, at this point, the only thing I'm thinking about is they still want the landlord still wants their money. And I'm like, no,
Yeah.
yeah, I can't do both. So, you know, we kind of went back and forth on that. And then finally it was kind of like, well, you're choosing to leave. You don't have to leave. And I was like, well, no, I do have to leave
Yeah.
because
It's making you
this
say.
is like a safety risk at this time.
Yeah.
And now the restoration company has admitted that they've not done any microbial testing, and that basically they say like, oh, your situation doesn't meet the need to. And I even had the comment to me like, it was he said, oh yeah, I've left families in homes with way more mold than this. And I was like,
Are you serious?
crazy, crazy.
What were the
And so
reviews like? Did you look them up? Like, I mean, obviously you didn't choose them, but like during this process, did you look up like, what does so and so's company's like reviews look like? Was it a similar vibe, or was it just like all around the board because they also do fire stuff?
There was a lot of back and forth, but nothing that seemed to stand out. Like, there was a ton of positive. I saw most reviews were on like water damage from like the fire department putting out a fire. If
Okay,
that
got it.
so
So
I
completely
also
different.
don't think that I had a ton to compare to, because that was not our situation.
So they didn't do any type of mold testing, even though they saw and they specifically said, "Hey, that looks like old growth." They were like, "Let's not even." Nah,
Correct. Yeah.
that's crazy.
And so now I'm like, you know what? Again, trying to remind myself, like, hey, this is what we have insurance for, or, that company is through the homeowner's insurance.
Mm-hmm.
But I have my own renter's policy.
That's good.
And so I'm like, we're going to be fine, because I'm just going to tell our claims person, like, yeah, link up with them and y'all figure it out. Because
Mm-hmm.
so I know on my policy, I am covered, like, to be reimbursed
That's good.
for having to be out of the home.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, awesome, great. Like, that's my main concern.
Yeah.
And I was fairly certain, as far as what I understood to be the law, that like, if he, if I was displaced from my home
Mm-hmm.
because of an incident, that I wouldn't be required to pay the rent. So at this point, I'm like, all right, here's where we're at. That's how I felt. I felt like we were fine. I didn't feel like what we were wanting was unreasonable.
And I agree. I don't think it's unreasonable at all.
And so we started staying in a hotel. Almost immediately, I was so much better.
I bet.
Like, but then here's the kicker. I was going back and forth grabbing clothes. And what I had thought was like, I guess I really didn't know how much mold affected you. So I didn't realize that my clothes could become contaminated. And I was reacting every time I'd go in the home.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so on those days, I'd be a little bit off. I'd have extra skin issues. And, it became a really scary thing to go in and get the clothes. But I
Oh, I
didn't
bet.
know that the spores could contaminate the clothes.
I didn't
And
either.
I started reacting to the clothes.
They
And
don't tell you this.
it didn't matter how many times I washed it.
Yep. They don't tell you any, like, the
No.
only research that I got was from like TikTok or anything like news articles, like anything on the internet. Like, they don't tell you, like, even like, I guess maybe the restoration company, but maybe not in your case because they're
No,
completely
they didn't.
uneven. So then they're just like, it's just on the wood, so you're fine. You're good.
Well, so
Just there.
my insurance company, they told me a little bit, and then basically like from this point, now I'm realizing like my furniture and mold inside the home has now visible mold growing on it.
Oh my gosh.
And that's from being out of the house for 2 weeks. After 2 weeks of being out of the house,
Did you leave the air on?
air was running. They did still have heaters.
Okay.
So like, okay, so timeline wise, we're over a month out now. They've still got heaters on the floors.
Wow. What were they supposed to be doing, the heaters?
Dry drying
Drying the
out
wood out?
the wood, yeah.
Got it. But really, they're just blowing mold.
Now that I know this, yeah, yeah. The other thing was is I got this super nasty like smell and taste, which could be attributed to COVID because during this time I did test positive.
Okay, but still, like, it could be maybe
But
not.
I smell it around mold now every time I'm around mold. So I believe this has something to do with mold.
Hmm.
I literally can smell it. It's like a sweet yeasty, like
You're like a mold dog now.
kind of. I'm a little bit like a walking mold radar.
That's your new superpower. Sorry.
Uh, yeah, I know. So um then I decided I'm like, okay, I'm going to get my own company because
Period.
this is gone on for too long. Like I can't afford to keep living like this. I'm like breaking down and now I'm like now my stuff is ruined, like my
Hmm.
clothes. I'm like how am I supposed to buy new clothes for 4 kids? Like what do I do?
Yeah.
And again, at this time, I really didn't know anything about mold.
Hmm.
So I'm like, what I do know is that there is mold in my house. They're being shady about it.
Hmm.
And we're sick. It really seems to be connected to this mold. And like now we're losing everything.
Yeah.
But
Well,
I'm
like,
trying to stay positive because I'm like, again, we have insurance. All good.
yeah. And you have like that almost like false hope of like, here's our safety net basically of what the
Yes,
insurance and what you understand of the policy. And
absolutely.
my question to you is this. So I know that you said that your daughter was sick and you let me know if you don't want to talk about anyone else. I was just curious, like, how, was it hard to convince your husband to move out of the house? Did he have any type of symptoms? Did anyone else have the symptoms besides your daughter? I'm assuming yes, but you can let me know.
Again, yes, and like medically, I'm not really sure, but as a mom, yeah, they did. So my husband, I actually, what's funny is that since we had moved into this house, I had been telling him, like, I think he just wasn't himself, personality
Mhm.
wise. Like, he was not, and I had been trying to encourage him, like, I don't know, are you depressed? And he's like, no, I'm not depressed. No,
Mhm.
and I'm like, okay, well, you've not been yourself for a while now. And which now something that I know is a huge sign in men. And so, like, he went to work like always, but also he was out of the house a lot because he was a worker bee. He was like always gone.
Yeah,
He left for my peace of mind,
that's
for
good.
sure.
That's good.
Um,
We
I
love a
don't,
supportive husband.
yeah, I don't think he was like totally was on
Convinced.
the level that I was at where I was like, this is mold, it's gonna kill us. We
Yeah.
need to go. And I don't think he would have made the decision to move out at all.
Mhm.
But I was like, I'm not going back.
Yeah. I mean,
Well,
you're trained to like trust professionals and like all the professionals in your life are saying it's not a big deal.
and then we hire somebody to come down there and they are an environmental.
One of those people. Um,
Yeah, so they're
yes.
not a restoration company,
They're an
but
environmental professional. Is that what they're called?
yes, it's a they look at like the whole health of your home, right? So
Yes.
like they do and I mean they run tests not just on like mold, but so basically we have this like 113-page document that like shows what levels of what mold was found where, and I don't have it in front of me, so I'm not like I know that like the mold that was found in my bedroom, which was the mold basically all around the leak,
Mm-hmm.
was stachybotrys, which
That's a
is
lot of fun.
right. There was also radioactive levels in my son's crib from an air test from
In the
his
crib or in the
in
room?
so he did the air test at my son's crib. Like that was
Okay. It was like right around in that area.
yeah, well like yeah. And so that was just like but to me I'm like, "Oh my gosh, that's." And so backstory on this, my son was a bitty baby. He was just born when we moved in. A few weeks after he was born, he was put on prednisone and an inhaler for asthma that he had to take daily.
Just as a baby? What did those signs like look like? Like what is like
Well, the doctor, whenever we would go in, the doctor's like, well, I don't like the way that, he wheezes when he breathes. And as a mom to me, I didn't see anything like super, super concerning
yeah,
that I was not like, oh, well, it's a new baby born right in the middle of cold and flu season.
yeah.
Right. But it became like every time we went to the doctors, he's like, yeah, this wheezing's not stopping. So the prednisone was a steroid and, um, and then an inhaler, albuterol that we had to give him as well.
Is this every single day you give him the
Every day.
inhaler?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Every day he's getting it. He's 4 now.
Mm-hmm.
Once he was 6 months old, that's when we left. He was right around 6 months old. And 2 weeks after being out of the house, we never renewed the prescription. He didn't need it at all.
Wow.
So,
You know what's crazy about that air test too is like what I'm learning is like that's just the spores in the air at that time. And to have that level in the air, like who's to say everywhere else, right, where it's settled, how high that was. So
yeah.
that's crazy. And I'm glad that your son's doing better. I just
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, he didn't seem overtly like
it
at,
was just
at that point in time, it's like, it was just something, that was happening. It didn't seem like it was that big of a deal.
yeah. Oh,
But it
baby.
was really sad to me afterwards because I'm like, oh my gosh, like you were struggling and it was
You
the
had no
house.
idea.
Yeah.
You had no idea that you cannot blame yourself. Like I would never. You blame
Well,
that
I know that.
new
It
landlord.
just it makes the situation worse because we did go to the doctors and we were actually told by the doctor, well, you can't get sick from being around mold unless you'd been in a home for over 20 years.
What?
And I was like, this makes no sense. So when we had got the environmental inspection done on the home, he said, if you bring your family back into that home, you're bringing your family back there to die.
Wow. That's how intense it was. That's
Yeah.
crazy. So was it
And
just
and I looked
stacking?
at my husband, I was like, we're not going back.
I don't blame you.
And
Yeah,
then
no.
what they were doing to remediate it basically, and this solidified like I will never we're getting out of our lease. We're starting over was that so the mold behind the walls, right? So when I gave the homeowners insurance a copy of our inspection findings,
Hmm.
they didn't accept it because they said that due to the standards, like whatever standards they're allowed to test at, that while there's no drywall up, that they can't do the testing until after the drywall is already back up. So they did not remediate or fix any mold that was behind the drywall. They put new drywall up. That was number one. That was their fix there. Number two, they did nothing other than heat dry out the water from the subflooring and carpets in some rooms. One room got new carpet, but the subfloor, that's the one that looked like it was so bad. It looked almost charred on the floor with mold. And so they did not replace the subfloor. They just slapped some carpet on in there.
So
And
so that's what the homeowner insurance suggested, and that was his
correct.
insurance.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
you have like, do you have like the verbal like back and forth with them, like this is what's happening, or was it word of mouth through the landlord?
No, it's a back and forth email communication.
Okay, so it's like like he's not just like saying it; you're seeing it. Like,
Oh yeah, and any conversation we had on the phone, like it got to the point where I was like, okay, well, I'm going to send you a follow-up email because I want this in
mm-hmm,
writing.
mm-hmm,
Because again, it feels like one ginormous conspiracy.
yeah.
And so then my insurance, right? So again, we're under the understanding with our insurance, like, okay, yeah, they are going to like, we're going to get paid back for all of these. So once I send in all my documents to them, they call me back and they're like, "Hey, so this state that you live in actually has a mold clause. So insurance doesn't cover anything that has to do with
What
mold."
is the mold clause exactly?
It is,
Without doxing your state.
I really don't. I will
You don't have
explain
to
it
like
as
you can
best
just
I
like
can. Like
from the top of your head.
well, I don't even live there anymore, but this was in California. So
Okay.
California. So basically in all rental agreements, right, there's like this mold clause. And with all of the insurance companies, there is a mold clause, meaning that insurance does not cover anything that's damaged due to molds. And essentially, because that report highlighted where the mold was, what the mold was, we actually kind of screwed ourselves. Had we continued to use the word water damage,
They would
we
have
would have been
covered it.
able to go through with that claim.
That is crazy.
I mean, in one way, we kind of really wouldn't have gotten everything back because the damages were more due to the mold than from the water. And because they did offer me like, hey, there was water damage, right? And so like they offered like heat dry out my couch, and I'm there's literally visible mold growing
Like
on
they
it.
need to actually throw it away.
I'm not touching it.
Literally.
And even with their assessment, what the insurance, because this before they had this document, they came out, they did a whole assessment. It was like 40 something $1,000 worth of damage that they
Wow.
assessed of, and like I just didn't grasp at that time that like everything in my home was infected.
Yeah. I mean,
And
yeah, you're
so
learning things like on the fly and like what people tell you and like what you're learning. Yeah.
and yeah, so it was just really a strange experience. And that was a huge, I was like, okay, I'm getting an attorney now because this
Hmm.
doesn't seem right. I'm thinking like leaks happen all the time.
Hmm.
And then I key into that landlord's comment like, it's just a leak pipe, like it's happened before, just call the insurance. And I'm like,
That stuff replayed in your head too. It's like you're in Clue and you're trying to solve the mystery. You're like, he said that.
exactly. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, so you're going to tell me that I was put in a situation where my whole life was flipped upside down, not because of my doing, but I'm the one who has to suffer the consequences. And
Hmm.
like, even though I did everything I was supposed to, I had the insurance. Like, I made all the proper notifications. And I felt like I was really nice about a lot of these
Yeah.
issues early on, like, and that I let things go that not everybody would let go,
Yeah.
like the not having water for a week issue that I kind
Yeah.
of was like, okay, whatever, huge inconvenience, something that I talked crap with my husband about, but was like, okay, we'll let it go, whatever.
Yeah.
And so all of those things, like it built up like just a super deep anger in me and a lot of fear, really. I didn't know at this point, like who I could trust. I didn't
Yeah.
feel like I could trust the doctors anymore.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like I could trust insurance companies anymore.
Yeah.
And the most advice I got was from the person that did the environmental inspection.
That's good.
And he kind of helped me go through and highlight like, hey, you're going to lose these things. You
So
can't
he
keep
kind of
these items.
told you like what you could and couldn't keep and
Yeah.
kind of informed. That's good. That's
I
really good
mean,
actually.
I wish he would have been more depth because I did end up keeping like way more things than I should have. And I like recontaminated our area,
Like in the at the hotel or like your new house or like your new
new
place.
house.
Oh my gosh. Did anything arise out of that or was it just the mycotoxins and
No, I think it was just the mycotoxins. Like I would react around clothes a lot. So I like stored all my clothes in bins and I would start soaking them. I tried like every bit of advice that was out there. I did
like
like the
borax?
borax. Yeah. Yep.
You gotta
And
soak that stuff. Like the puffer jackets, I put one on from before. I was like, oh no, my eyes are itching. It was like immediate.
well, and then my bins, I would go near my bins and I was like, okay, the whole bin's going in the trash. Like
What was like your flare sign? Like, is it the smell? I know you're saying the smell, but like, is it your rash too? Like, what else?
I would say like right around my lips starts to swell. And almost immediately I get brain fog really bad.
Hmm.
But like the line on the outside of my lips,
You
it
can't
will
lie.
will swell. And I also get like really itchy eyes. Nothing that's necessarily very visible,
Mm-hmm.
but I've started to notice, and it's something that I do without necessarily noticing, that my eye is itchy. And my husband, he cracks me up. He's like, your eye flicking. Because I will just pick at my eyes so bad.
Yeah, let me tell you, sensitive skin too.
Yeah. And so that's one of, like, if I'm not necessarily paying attention, he'll be like, you were eye flicking. And I'm like, oh no, oh no.
There's like, what did I touch today? Where did I go?
But what made it really bad too is that while we were moving,
Mm-hmm.
we were exposed to, I became like a mold radar. And what I mean by that is that I can walk into a house and react immediately. Whereas prior to my experience with this mold, I don't think that I would have reacted like that.
It's because your cup's so full. Your
Yeah.
metaphorical cup. It's like,
Well, yeah. And your immune system, right? It's like it wants to attack now. Every time you
mm-hmm.
come in contact with this, it's like, oh yeah, we're gearing up.
We're in
We're ready to
danger.
fight. Yeah. And at the same time, I think a lot of those symptoms were worse because I was detoxing myself,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't know enough about what I was doing to do it safely.
Mm-hmm.
And so, in turn, what I did, I was not in the right environment for, and I kind of made myself sicker.
Yeah.
But my eyes would swell up really big, like from here to here. And that was the one thing, like, I remembered seeing on your videos, and it, before I even knew what they were about, I was like, oh my gosh, this poor girl's in mold.
Yep. That's what, and like the amount of people in my comment section posting their eyes from a time that they were in mold or like they're in mold currently and they didn't know. Like, my eyes look the exact same. I'm like, I had no idea that mold eyes was like a thing. Like,
Oh my, see, and I sent you some pictures on through messages. I didn't know you could post pictures
underneath.
on in comments. Otherwise, I would have done that.
I have to look.
Yeah.
I'm so bad. I'm so bad at like responding to like my. This could come up as like requests, and then I'm like, oh, I need to get back to that. I like open it, and then I forget. And I'm like, anyway. Well, like, how did that go with like doctors and stuff? Like, are you like a my chart girly? Like, do you send pictures like to your doctor? Like,
Oh
what's
yeah.
going on?
Oh
Like,
yeah.
what? Obviously, I'm assuming their responses.
I mean, a lot of it was like, oh, that's eczema. And I'm like, I've had eczema my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
I've never had eczema look or feel like this or in these places,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm like, I'm gonna go with it. I'm gonna use the creams. It didn't help.
Was
In
it the
fact, it made
steroid
things
creams?
worse. And then I was just like, I started getting like staph infection after staph infection, and it was so bad.
Like, so tell me how it is now. Like that, you know that it's mold that caused all of your symptoms. Like, how is it explaining that back to your doctor? Because I know from my personal experience, they didn't believe me. They're like,
I actually had to, like, I was sent to a dermatologist, and she was probably the first person who made me feel listened to
that's great.
and who helped me.
It's really good.
And I'm not even really sure how she was able to do this part, but she did help me with safer ways to detox and
Good.
products that I could use, over the counter vitamins and things to really help me through that. And
Mm-hmm.
she checked in with me, and those things were working.
That's good.
So, but what I would still notice is like a walking radar. I could walk down the street and go, "Oh my God, there's a mold here."
Yep. I need to leave. It's always the
And
old buildings.
like looking for a new home, it became a really big chore because I'm like, first house in, and I've reacted. And, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm never going to find a safe home, is really how I was feeling. And even looking at used cars, I'm like
Oh, I bet.
reacting in every car I get into. And I'm like, it was just very defeating because I'm like, once upon a time in my life, I could have got in this car
And been fine.
and been fine. And now I can't think straight. And I am swelling everywhere and I'm itchy, and all I can think about is like how many people are suffering and around mold
And they don't
all the
even
time right
know.
now. It's like painfully obvious how
Yeah.
everywhere it is.
Oh, it's crazy.
And I'm like, so how am I alive right now?
Literally, like, how did I do the things that I was doing before? Like, I
Right.
look at old
Yeah.
pools and I'm like, how did I survive in that? The vent
And
is
I
literally moldy.
and I'm like trying every day. I'm like, okay, listen, like You've met so many other people who've dealt with the same thing and they're still here. So you're going to be okay. But it was really hard to understand that there would be a time where I would be okay again.
Yeah. Are you at that point?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm not as hypersensitive anymore.
How long has it been?
4 years out
Okay. There's
of
hope for
mold.
me.
Listen, it was like 8 months out. I really started to heal health wise.
That's good.
It took me almost 2 years out, like to get there mentally,
Yeah.
to get
Everything's
to the,
scary right now, for me at least.
yeah.
Everything is like 10.
Honestly, with what you're doing, one of the reasons I wanted to be a part of this so bad is like I went through a stage where like all I wanted to do was help mold survivors.
Hmm.
That was how I was going to get myself through.
I love that.
And that also became defeating because it was like, how actually do I do this?
Just like having like a platform and being like, huh, I'm not alone in this. This is other people's experiences, and maybe like we wouldn't hear it from them. Oh, sorry if you heard that. Maybe we wouldn't hear it from them if they didn't come on here to like talk. Do you know what I mean? Because like not everyone wants to just like start like a channel and be like,
Well, I think that's going to be really healing for you in itself too.
yeah,
Like just that step. I think it gives you like a different perspective to see things from,
it gives me hope a
and
lot,
like a
really.
way to keep your mind busy,
Yeah,
while you're dealing with it. And I honestly, you owning your home has been really cool for me to watch too, because I used to wish like, oh, I wish we were homeowners and not renters when all of this happened, because
hmm,
I felt like it would have been easier to deal with.
yeah. I mean, you can take matters into your own hands in that sense. Like you can find your own remediation company. You have control over like who comes into your house to do the work, testing. No one's hiding answers from me. Whereas I feel
Yeah.
like in your situation, that may have happened where like,
Yeah. And we were actually explained that there are two different types of. The other part is
oh, tell
we
me,
did call. Okay, yeah. So we did report to what the housing authority.
period, good.
Okay, and they basically were like, "Oh, well, if they've had a company come out, then like they're not in violation of anything." And I was like, "What?"
Even if they're not the right type of people and they didn't
Right.
do
So we
any type
had
of
that
containment.
discussion and they essentially were like, "Well, they don't actually have to do anything, but as long as they're trying to find an answer, then yeah, it's fine."
Because they're doing the steps.
Right. And so like I'm like, okay, but this is where we're at. And they're like, yeah, no.
So wait, how did you get out of your lease? Did you have to wait to get out of that?
I think I just made them mad enough that, because they
I
sent
hate
me
this
this
phone
email.
call.
They're like, if you were willing to, what did they used some funky wording. It used to make me laugh. They acted like I like took possession of their house. I wasn't even living here anymore. And
Yeah,
and for
acting like you're a
months.
squatter or something.
Yeah, yeah, for
When
months.
you relinquish
Like I
this
was moved out. I was moved out. I lived in another state like for months, and they were like, if you're going to return possession of the home,
this
like
man
I
act like
have
you're a
it
squatter.
already. I think what they were waiting for me to say is like, I'm not going to hold you accountable legally for anything. um
I hope you didn't do that. I hope you didn't say that.
well,
No,
listen, so what got me is I signed a form through the insurance that basically like tied my hands, which
those freaking forms, dude.
I wish I would have had like a lawyer
Yeah,
prior to all of this. I just like I'm thinking insurance will cover me. Like, what do I need a lawyer for?
yeah.
Yeah, I should have had a lawyer. I should have had a lawyer because
Also, like having a lawyer is a privilege. Also, just like in general, like being able to have someone like take your case or like afford someone if they're not going to take it pro bono. Like, also, you're in a situation where you're trusting everyone, which you're supposed to be, right? You're literally brought up to like trust people who are professionals, and you're like, these people know what they're
right.
doing. They've seen this
Like I
before.
don't I don't expect that people have bad intentions and
Yeah,
move throughout their process with those bad intentions.
yeah.
So I definitely didn't think that was going to be the case for me. And I actually had to really like just mentally just to see like how this really broke me down. Is like I just started seeing evil in people all over.
Mhm.
It was really hard to see any good intentions.
Mhm.
And because that is all I experienced. And every time I started to get really down, I'm like, no, don't look at it that way. Like they just have a job to do. Like
Mhm.
they're just doing a job. And I had to tell myself all the time, like, I guarantee if these restoration people really knew what was going on, like they wouldn't be telling me this. This is
Yeah.
how they're trained. This is the information that they have available to them.
Hmm.
And, so I really was just trying to like not be so angry.
Yeah. I mean, that healing process too, it's just like even like forgiving people that put you in a situation. It's
But
like,
also, mold rage is so real.
I hear that.
And so yeah, so it was kind of a mix of like, really, you're doing something very frustrating and it's infuriating, and also mold rage.
Yeah. Trust me, I've like looked up the people who own my house before. I've been like, where do you live? I'm like, you're gonna do this to me?
See, and I like looking at your situation too. I may have thought it was easier to own a home, but like honestly, I I would have to leave. I don't know that
It's
I would.
hard. I'll tell
Yeah,
you that. Every single thing that happens to me, I'm like, was it my mascara because I'm allergic to beeswax, or was it mold?
yeah.
And that's the
Well,
other thing. Like, I have so many product sensitivities now. Like, do you have anything like
yes,
that?
yeah. I became allergic to everything.
Oh my gosh. What's
It
like
was
the
crazy.
worst thing that you've reacted to, like post or during mold?
Water,
Well, water.
water
Yeah.
on my skin.
Wait, do you think it was in the pipes though? Like the mold could be in the pipe touching you.
Listen, stop it, because that's where I went to. But then it was like rain falling from the sky. Okay, so I'm like,
Fair. That's fair. Got
but I literally was like, oh my gosh, this moldy train, like
it.
I'm all holding my breath walking through. It was bad.
Like,
Okay.
are you good? And you're like, no.
I'm like walking in the house with one of those T-Vex suits. Like,
And like,
yeah.
how did you go about, like, now that you're in a new space, right? How did you go about, number one, rebuilding like all of your stuff back? Like, did you have a community behind you? Were you pretty much like by yourself? And two, what type of precautions did you take, like, now that you know what mold can do to you? Like, what did you take to like get where you are now?
So there is a group called Exposing Mold. They're on Facebook and TikTok. They actually helped us um, in the transition between um, moving um, moving into a non-moldy house.
Okay, what did that help look like?
They had like a questionnaire basically about your experience and like living situation and stuff. But one of the part of their questionnaire in that was like, what is the most help for you? And so in our case, it was like those little prepaid Visa gift cards.
Yeah.
And so that was very helpful
Mm-hmm.
to us.
So
Other than that, like we had nothing.
did like they
Go
just
ahead.
send it to you? Like, is it random people donating to this cause and then the main person sends out help? Or how does it work?
I think so. So they actually, I tried to share this platform around with others
Yeah.
later, and I saw that they were like, I don't know if they had such an influx of people that had applied, like they weren't taking there was an application system.
So there's just like
And
a lot going.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I don't know if they stopped doing it. I do know that there's an area where you can donate,
Okay, cool.
and they do talk shows and things like, and they share lots of information and questions, and a lot of it is just like a, oh hey, they say this about mold, what do you think.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But in addition to monetary help with the gift cards, really following their page helped me a lot, because it made me take a step back and go like, okay, this is not the end of the world. They share things on their ways that you can clean things. And so I was like, you know what, steam cleaner,
Mm-hmm.
that was number one thing I had to have that was going to ease my mind. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, so I have to have a steam cleaner, because now I feel like I can safely kill mold, and like it doesn't have a lot of water, so I don't feel like I'm going to create mold.
Yeah.
And so the steam cleaner was like, after all my research and everything, that was number one product I had to have
Mm-hmm.
in order to feel safe moving forward living in a home.
Yeah.
And I mean, things like having payment systems like, was it like Affirm and Afterpay
Klarna.
and stuff, it was kind of how we rebuilt. And so, of course, we just had like bare minimum. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of clothing items we were able to save.
That's good. That's really good news.
Not everything, but
What worked for you? Because I know that
like
you
for
said
me,
you
I'm
tried a
wearing
lot.
I'm wearing a jacket that was,
That's good.
so There were some clothing items that I was like, I am not willing to let you go without a fight.
Me with my cardigans, I'm like, I'm not taking my eyes off you.
The one good thing that I say that I will take away from all of this is like, I know the secret hiding places to look inside of homes now. Like things I never would have paid attention to now. I'm like, oh, mold, go away. Like
Vents.
I would not even give it a second look.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what is super scary is I live in the middle of nowhere now.
Okay.
So finding a house here is like everything's really old.
Oh, I bet, yeah.
And in my head, immediately I'm like, old and mold. Old and mold. They go together.
Did you do an Ernie test at your new house? Like, how did you?
I didn't. I went based off of like I didn't really react.
That's good.
So I was like, okay, I am after so many years because that's what we kept doing. We kept testing new houses like every time we've moved, and we're on house 3 since.
Mm-hmm.
So like, or actually, we're on house 4.
So you tested all of the houses before you're like, like
Well, three.
3.
So I'm like, okay, I can't keep doing this,
Yeah, and it's expensive. Like,
and
okay,
it's
that's the
so
other
hard
thing.
though too because like I'll be completely honest. I don't think you're gonna find a house that doesn't have mold.
I agree. I
But
agree.
but I do think a lot of it is like the issues with mycotoxins. One, I think like the the mycotoxins make you a lot sicker. Mycotoxins can pass the blood-brain barrier.
Mm-hmm.
That's where like issues that I had really I think came into play was I mean it's essentially like a neurotoxin.
Yeah.
But I definitely have scares here and there. Like every time me or my kids have an eczema flare up, I'm like,
Where's
where's
it?
the mold?
Where's it hiding?
Yeah, exactly.
No, real. I will literally. I actually came into this office earlier and I was like, "There's a smell. Why is there a smell?" Your biggest piece of advice for moving on, if there's someone like in my situation where I just got out of it, what's your advice on that?
Taking things one step at a time, reminding yourself that like you are not responsible for what you cannot control,
Mm-hmm.
and knowing that there is a life after recovering from mold. It does get better.
Well, thank you so much, Chelsea. I really appreciate you coming on today and sharing your story and giving us all of the tips and tricks. Honestly, your story is going to help so many people, and I appreciate you sharing today and giving us all of your knowledge that we can absorb, essentially.
Thank you for having me.
Of course.
And I think it's really awesome what you're doing with your experience.
Oh, thank
I
you. I
can't
appreciate
imagine how
it.
hard it is, especially staying in the home. But I think that everything you're doing is probably keeping you mentally on the right track,
Yeah.
as well as like it is really cool to see what you're turning this experience into because it is just so easy to go down the rabbit hole and live a life of fear. And so
Yeah. I'm hoping to turn
I think you're an awesome voice for the mold community.
sweet to me. Thank you, Chelsea. My hype woman, my hype woman.